Coming up on the program tonight, type 2 diabetes. It's killing us. Workplace safety on the farm and Hamiltonians' relationship with the Waikato River. Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Friday the 28th of November. I'm Hilary Entwistle. New Zealand could be facing an epidemic of type 2 diabetes, so awareness and education about this fatal disease is vital. I spoke with two local experts to find out about the symptoms of hypoglycemia.
So people think that in diabetes, sugar's a baddie. It is, but one of the elements that we need to consider is actually what is carbohydrate, because carbohydrate is the food group that breaks down into glucose in the body, and that is actually where a lot of our problems lies. So when somebody has a pie, the pastry's got carbohydrate in, a lot of starch, and actually that pie will put blood sugars up. Now, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's just about the fizzy drinks and the lollies and the cakes and the biscuits. They're right, but actually it's also your bread, your rice, your pasta, and all those kind of things. Rice is one of the worst things for putting blood sugars up. And people, I know way back in the UK where I'm from, we would have curry and rice, and we'd have a lot of rice and a little bit of curry. But all the time, that rice is actually changing into carbohydrate, changing into glucose, putting blood sugars up. So when that adds to the already high blood sugars because of diabetes, you get a massive hyperglycemia.
What are you guys doing locally to promote the awareness?
Yeah, so we've got a few things happening, haven't we, Debbie? So next Tuesday, actually, the 11th of November at Bayfair Shopping Centre, there's a few organisations working together, the DHB, PHO, Diabetes Help, Foot Mechanics, Podium. We're all coming together at Bayfair to promote diabetes. So people can come to the mall, get information, we'll want to raise the awareness. There's a lot of things happening, free foot screening, we've got supermarket tours, we've got games and activities, spot prizes, so lots happening. And then we've also got radio with our iwi, local iwi radio. We're going to be doing a breakfast show with them and getting people to ring in and interact with us. So yeah, lots happening.
What does Diabetes Help Tauranga do?
Diabetes Help Tauranga has been around for about 25, 26 years. And more recently, they've employed a field worker, that's myself. And we're out in the community, we're educating, we're raising awareness, we're offering support and advice, and we're offering an advocacy, because often people with diabetes, they don't know what services are available to them. And we have some amazing services in the Bay of Plenty. We've got pre-diabetes courses, diabetes courses, day, night, different days. There's availability, and for people to get on those courses, they can find out everything they need to know about diabetes, and to realise that diabetes does not control them. They control diabetes, but they have to take ownership of it, and they have to try to do something about it. Diabetes Help is a wonderful organisation. We've got lots of really good volunteers who are all either got diabetes themselves or are parents of people with diabetes. We've got about 20 parents with type 1 children, and it's just an amazing group of people that really, really believe we can make a difference in diabetes in the Bay of Plenty.
And Tiana, you actually have your own personal experience with type 2 diabetes. And tell me about this.
I'm a bit of a personal story, really, Hilary. I mean, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis 14 years ago, and because of medicines I was taking to help me with that arthritis, what they call got induced diabetes. So I didn't know. My sugar levels were pretty high for a long time, and then my doctor pulled me in, and I didn't know anything about diabetes. So, and I didn't manage it very well. I don't know if I actually came to Diabetes Tauranga Help. I just don't know. I probably was oblivious to it. I was in denial. But I had 2 heart attacks, one after the other, and because I wasn't managing this very well. And so that kind of made me realise I need to do something about this. So, yeah, it was pretty, I didn't know, and I was in denial. But as the years have gone on, I've kind of realised what I need to do. And so in my role as a health promotion coordinator, I'm fortunate that I can go out and educate and inform people. Talk to whānau, because it's prevalent in Māori, so we're always, I'm always educating and always talking about it, really. So it's had a huge effect on my on my lifestyle, really.
What are some of the long-term complications then?
Well, I mean, you know, Māori, we gather all the time and have lovely big fat feeds. And, you know, we had one last night, there were about 35 of us. So, you know, I'm watching my diet. I mean, my exercise, I was always really tired, but then I had my arthritis, so I wasn't sure. You know, so yeah, it has huge impact. I mean, I'm not as active, or wasn't as active like I used to be. You know, so I've had to get all that going in myself as well. You know, just knowing and being aware, really learning all these new things. So it's had a huge impact, really. But like Debbie said, you know, it doesn't have to have that big impact on your life. You can manage it well if you can, you know, if you're able to.
Tiana, what would be your message around diabetes to the average New Zealander?
I think if you've got any indications, Debbie talked about it earlier, you know, if you're becoming a lot more thirsty and things like that, go to your doctor, go and see your doctor, go and see your nurse. Have some tests done, you know, if it's in your family, if it's genetic, just go and get tested to see if you have got diabetes. It's really important to be aware and to manage well.
Would you suggest if we do have any of those risk factors, say we're Māori, we're Pacific Island, we're overweight, we actually just go to the doctor and get ourselves tested anyway?
Yeah, definitely. Next Tuesday we have a quick risk assessment form that people are ticking. So, you know, one of those, well, some of those questions are, you know, do you think you're overweight? Are you not that active? You know, are you a smoker? You know, are you a couple of, you know, ethnicities, Māori, Asian, Polynesian, Pacific Islander? So yeah, if you're ticking those boxes, you know, definitely. And I guess that's where I come into it, because I'm from here, everyone knows me, and I can talk to people about that kind of thing. So yeah, I would.
Debbie, what's your message to the average New Zealander when it comes to diabetes?
I think it's great having Tiana in the role that she's doing, because she can engage with people who previously we haven't been able to engage with. But you know, the message is that diabetes can be managed. In some cases, it can be prevented, and that's why Sport Bear Plenty have recently started a pre-diabetes course, because the boundaries can be pulled back. You don't have to develop diabetes, but if you don't go and do something about it, then it will develop, and you may not know it's developing. So you're in charge here. If you're listening to this interview today, then go to your doctor or your practice nurse if you think that you are at risk of diabetes. As Tiana said, if you're over 40 or 45, if you've had some of those risk factors, take responsibility for this. There used to be a lot of blame associated with diabetes. You've eaten the wrong foods, you're overweight, and a lot of guilt. And people hide away in their closet when guilt's around, and they don't want to say to the doctor, I think I may have a problem in this area. And Kiwis especially are very reluctant to actually get up and do something. But this is a message to, you don't want to end up losing your sight or ending up on dialysis or with an amputation. You don't want to end up even with diabetes, full stop. So do something about it now. You can make a difference.
And remember, the most important thing about diabetes is that you have support, and you can find that through Diabetes Help Tauranga. Visit diabeteshelp.org.nz or phone 07 571 3422. Coming up after the break, new safety laws on the farm. Welcome back to Central News on TV Central. Federated Farmers recently held a series of interactive sessions of health and safety on the farm around the Waikato. With changes to workplace health and safety laws affecting farmers, these sessions were about enabling farmers with the right tools and helping them to better understand their obligations as farm owners and employers. Waikato Federated Farmers President Chris Lewis explains why there was a need to hold these sessions.
Next year there's a law change in April 2015. There are already strong laws protecting the employees and employers regarding health and safety, but these laws have been beefing up. So in 2015 in April, WorkSafe New Zealand, they would have tripled their workforce, and they've looked at the stats, and agriculture is number one. We're not number one because we're good at what we do, it's because we're not what we're doing, and that is keeping our staff safe. So last year, it's been reported in the media, there was 18 deaths. In forestry, there was 4. So it's not a good stat, it's not something to be proud of for being number one. So we've decided we'll make some awareness out there. There's going to be some tougher laws come into place. The fines will be anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million. which makes most people take notice. Also be criminal convictions and possible jail time. So what does that mean for farmers? It means farmers, if they're not doing it already, they need to have some health and safety plans. Not just a book that gives us dust in the cow shed, but something that their employers and staff interact on a monthly basis. They do a bit of training and also be made aware of the hazards.
Can that be done simply by the employer sitting down with the worker and actually having a conversation?
That's correct, yes. You have to sit down and have the conversation. It's not just in passing, put your helmet on. You've got to sit down and have the conversation. What does good health and safety look like on this farm? Because it'll look different from the neighbours. You've got different machinery, different contour, and also you've got the people factor. The people factor is the unknown, and that's why at these seminars we've had a team approach from 5 speakers. One is selecting the right candidate. 2, when you think you've found the right candidate, do some drug testing. And if that comes back clear, offer them a job using Ferry Farmers contracts, signing a health and safety document, also signing a drug and alcohol policy. So yeah, once they come on your farm, you take them through to health and safety again, reiterate what looks good on your farm, what's bad, but also once they're there is maintaining that good working relationship you started from day one when you selected them. A professional approach, good communication, and just having that regular conversations.
So what are some of the major concerns around workplace safety on the farm?
I think if you just look at recent accidents, one was in Otahonga. There was a PTO shaft that was uncovered, a guy I went to school with. It was very unfortunate. Also there's four-wheelers. Four-wheelers are very safe equipment, but when you stick a human on there, impatient, might be a bit late for the job, bit of speed and terrain, they can be a dangerous beast. But in the right hands, a good rider who's been well trained, four-wheelers are just as safe as your car.
Where can farmers go to find out more about the law change and to get help to know what to do?
First thing to do is maybe look at the WorkSafe website, and they'll got a document on there showing what farmers need to do to be compliant. But once you've had a read of that, you might want to talk to some professionals out there. First thing you want to do is making sure all your staff have got employment agreements. They're keeping hour sheets. You've got a health and safety policy that has been used regularly, basics like that. But if you've got any sneaking suspicions about your staff, they were a bit late, sleeping in, party all night, then you might need some professional advice. And there's plenty of firms in Waikato. One we had last night was Ag Results, who spoke to us and about alcohol and drug testing. There's also the recruitment agencies out there who can give you professional advice. Also, likes of Hazard Co, Enfed Farmers, they can give you one-on-one advice on how to implement things for your farm.
So why did this law change come about?
Well, back in 2009, I think it was, when we had the Pike River mine accident. You would have seen a lot of media about that, and in the media, all the directors said, oh, we didn't know mines were dangerous. We didn't know being underground, there would be gas explosions and all these other things. We left it up to the managers on the site to run a safe operation. So after that, none of the managers, directors could be prosecuted. They all escaped prosecution. So the government decided they would copy maybe what the Australians are doing and bring accountability right to the top. Not just to the CEO or managing director, but also the directors. So made them all accountable, and this law changed. So you would have seen in the Fobo Strait when the Easy Rider sunk with 9 people dead on there. The wife, who was the director of the skipper, she was prosecuted in court. And she had 9 manslaughter charges against her, never went on the boat, never had anything to do operationally, apart from being a director. And she probably just signed the cheques and that's all she did, but she was made accountable. So in any farming operation, there's husbands and wives. Often the wives don't do a lot, most do a lot, but the ones who don't, they need to be aware of the obligations of being a company director.
What are the implications for farmers? Say they have a farm worker who has been asked to wear his helmet, doesn't wear his helmet, has a motorbike accident. Who's liable?
First thing is, when you're becoming a company director, it's not just a cool title to have. There is responsibilities and there is laws out there that could hold you accountable. So if you don't want to be a company director, please don't. But if you decide you want to be part of the partnership or part of the team to help run a successful operation, then you need to be made aware of your obligations. And any good lawyer these days, when you sign these documents, will make you aware. And the basics is having your staff with contracts, hours, health and safety documents. And that is just some of the basics that get you going. And once you've got those implemented, then you need to maybe, especially if you've got a larger operation, seek some professional advice. And there's many, many people out there who can offer that. And please don't go to one source, go to many, go to 3 or 4 and have a team behind you.
And a good place to start's Fed Farmers.
Fed Farmers, as well as our speakers we had last night, which is Cross Country Recruitment, KPMG, Ag Results, FMG.
For more details, go to fedfarm.org.nz. Up next, the River Plan. Welcome back to Central News. The Waikato River runs through the Hamilton CBD, yet for the most part, cannot be accessed or is blocked by buildings. Now, after years of discussion, Hamilton City Council has released the River Plan, which has been developed over the past year. The River Plan is out for public consultation, and Anne-Marie spoke to Mayor Julie Hardacre to find out the details of the plan.
Oh, look, amazing, really. Normally you get 20 people to a council consultation process. We had an open day and got over 200. And look, the overwhelming message from that day that we held in June was, get on with it. We've been waiting decades, give us a river plan. And secondly, a really strong message from that day was accessibility. You know, we want to get to the river, we want to know how to get there, get down to it, touch it, be on it, all of those things. I think Hamiltonians well and truly want to make more use of the river. Some people brought along to that open day pictures of when they were kids and they used to swim in the river and what it meant, you know, decades ago to them, and really wanting to return to that. So look, the plan's been developed over about 18 months, lots of involvement by different groups and key stakeholders, certainly walking hand in hand with Waikato Tainui, who are very important for the river, of course, Waikato Regional Council, Mighty River Power, the River Authority, and we've produced the plan. We've got a month now for people to give us feedback, but look, you know, overwhelmingly people are very, very excited about it.
During that whole consultation process and planning process, did you look at overseas cities such as Perth to get ideas how they've integrated their city with the river quite recently?
We looked all around the world. We looked at home, of course, first. We looked at Auckland and Wellington, and of course New Plymouth's got a great boardwalk on that seafront. So we looked at those sorts of things. We also looked at some of the Australian cities, Brisbane and Melbourne, for example. And yes, all around the world. I think I've looked at every water plan ever made. And look, we got some really useful ideas from some of those plans, principles and things. But what was interesting is the same sort of themes, you know, access, tourism and recreational opportunities, how to get the balance between the hard surfaces and the soft, you know, commercial development and the naturalness of bush and trees. So, you know, I think I can assure you, I've looked at hundreds of them, and you know, I think ours is really reflective of our place, Hamilton. This is a plan for us, but we've certainly taken some learnings from other places.
The projects have been divided up into immediate starts and future goals. Right. Tell me about those.
Well, look, the plan is for a 30-year rollout time frame. These things are not going to happen overnight, but we certainly have to start somewhere. We really want to get away with some, you know, quick and easy things that we can do immediately, and then there's some major projects that will need to be done. So one of the things we're going to get started on straight away is a really detailed plan of the Ferrybank area. That is going to be the premier destination. Everyone is clear about that, but how it's actually going to look, and to get that balance between commercial development, recreational spaces, tourism, that's really got to be worked out in detail. So that will happen. And of course, we really want to get underway with planning for the swimming pool in the river, which is overwhelmingly seems to be the popular one from the public.
Has there been an overwhelmingly popular idea from the plan that's come back in from the feedback?
Definitely, people really have an affinity and identity with that. A lot of people have swum there, particularly older people. It's always been a popular swimming spot, and the ability to create some kind of pontoon-style swimming pool to make it a really safe sort of beach. So you don't need to go to the beach, you can be at our beach. And also the flower bridge, planting the Puketi walking bridge, colloquially known as the sewer bridge, and turning it into a bit of a garden also has got a lot of appeal. So look, there's some great ideas. People have given us boxes and boxes full of their own ideas. But I think over the next decade there will be a really big commitment by everyone to really get some of the major projects going along the ferry bank.
There's a very special event happening this Sunday, the 16th, on Victoria Bridge. Yes. Tell me about that.
Hey, how neat. We're going to shut the bridge down and walk on it. That's a neat feeling. And of course that was the first bridge ever built in Hamilton, right back, the Union Bridge back in the late 1880s. So this is a sort of an open day, I guess, on the bridge. Come along and have a look at the plan in detail, give us your views and feedback about what you think about it, and at the same time, have a good look at the river, because there aren't many places you can actually do that, and that's what we want to change with the plan.
For more information, visit hamilton.gov.nz. Let's look at the weather now for Saturday. Looking at the marine forecast for our regions. That is the program for today and this week. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so by liking our Facebook page, centralnews.tv, or you can email us news@tvcentral.co.nz. Next week, we look at a year in politics for new Mayor Jan Barnes of Matamata Piako, and the latest on Hamilton's pensioner housing. Until then, I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening and a fantastic weekend.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.